Hi, this is UFO easily build Docker images and deploy containers to AWS ECS. I'm going to talk about a tool called UFO in this video. Okay, let's jump right into it. UFO comes with its own official documentation website called UFO Ships. Let's go to there. And in this, there you go. There's a little logo of a UFO carrying the Docker whale, basically. Summary of what UFO does. The main command that UFO has is called UFO Ship. And what that does is it does three steps. Number one, it builds a Docker image. Number two, it then takes that Docker image and builds an ECS template definition and it registers that ECS template to ECS. Then number three, the final step is it takes that register ECS template definition and it deploys it to ECS service, and you're kind of done. Here's a more description explaining how UFO works, but we're gonna jump right into the quick start. So to install UFO, you just go gem install UFO. So you're installing via Ruby gems. You can also use this as a homebrew installer if you don't want to deal with Ruby dependencies, because that vendorizes Ruby for you. You can then clone this example project, tungaroo/hi, and that's just a snot trap that returns 42. And then you run this command. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this command and run it because I've already cloned out the project. So let's run that command, and it tells you some information about what it created. It created basically this UFO directory. Inside of it, you have kind of the structure of what the files that is required by UFO. And now we can ship it now. We can go ahead and just run this command, and that's going to ship it. So with that, what that's doing is building that Docker image, like I said. And number two, it's going to eventually register that task definition, and then it's going to deploy it. So right now it's still building that Docker image here. It's kind of pushing the layers. Now you can see it's building the task definitions and registering the task definitions too. Then finally it's shipping the high web application here, and then it does some actually cleanup work also. So with that, we can actually now go and check if that worked. So let's go there and let's go to EC2 instances. Actually, I'm going to hop into the EC2 instance. I'm running this on one container, so it'll be actually pretty easy to find, and this network set up with a Bastion host. So let's hop into the Bastion host first, and then we'll hop into the EC2 container instance. So that's me hopping into the Bastion host. So I'm in. Let's now grab the internal IP address of the ECS container and SSH into that, and then let's do a Docker PS, and you can see there's hi. And it's interesting here. You're seeing two processes. I have only one process running, but what's happening is the deployment is still going there, and you could actually even see the name of the task definition here. The newer one is the task definition 20, and the older one is 19. So I'm guessing it's gonna take another minute or so before that deploy completely completes. Let's also verify the deploy using the ECS console. So ECS console is right there. So you click on that. I deployed this, even though it's a staging count, to a production cluster. I've set one of those up. And you can see now task definition 20, that's the newly deployed one running task. If you click on tasks here, or let's actually click on service. And here, events, you can see that the deployment has finally finished stopping the other tasks. So we can actually hop back into the terminal and verify that that other container instance is gone. Exactly, it's gone now. So that's, one command, it did all that for you. So let's actually see how UFO works. Let's go take a look at these files. So one of the first files I'm going to look at is task definitions. So task definitions, this was all generated for you. This will basically declare that I want to create a task definition called High Web, and there are two other task definitions automatically generate too. You can delete these if you don't need to use them, but a common pattern with web applications is there's a web application, there's some worker applications, and there's usually a clock or a scheduler. So UFO just generates those as examples for you to use. And the other thing is sourcing main. What's sourcing main? So main is basically this template right here. So it's under UFO templates main. So you see this is the template definition that you're usually required to write. And notice this is in JSON form. It's in the raw JSON form. One of the reasons I actually wrote UFO was I was using another script, and I couldn't figure out how to change the JSON file for that script, and it frustrated me a little bit, but eventually I figured it out. but I wanted more control of this, and I wanted to be able to change this depending on which application I was deploying rather easily without kind of hopping into multiple layers of code. And so this is all given to you at a very high level here. You have the template definition and your full control really far up the stack. UFO also has a concept called variables. So here, let's take a look at some of the variables. Base variables, as well as prod variables, because that's what we deployed. So variables, basically, you could just assign the variables here in this file in base, and those variables are going to be common everywhere, so you could use those variables in your template definitions, and you could also use those variables in your template template views here. So they're available as instance variables everywhere. And the variables, there's a base one here that's specially treated, that's common everywhere. But then there's another file called prod. And so I named this environment prod, and because I named it prod, it's gonna automatically pick this up and can use this as its additional variables that it's gonna layer on top of this base. So basically these two files get combined, and you could override common variables with environment specific variables. So there's prod here, and let me show you stag, which is overriding that. So see how there's Rails staging here and Rails envive production here. You could override them and basically customize it to your needs. So that's kind of when you run UFO ship, it takes this task definition, it takes this template right here, and it takes all these variables and combines them all together to generate the output task definition, which is right here. There. That's in a nutshell how it works. Now then it takes this, then it calls the ECS APIs and it uploads the templates and it registers them. And then immediately after that, it will then call the ECS API and update the ECS service. So you're done. So that's in a nutshell how ECS works. Let's recap. So we went through the quick start. We checked that everything works. We reviewed the steps that UFO automated. It builds, registers task definitions, and then deploys the code. And then we looked at all the actually files so we review and understand what actually really happened. There's a bunch of references here that could be useful, or that are going to be useful. One is a blog post that covering exactly what I just did here, and more prod detail. And here's the link to the official documentation website, and here's the link to the source code. If you want to contribute, that'd be great. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you like this video, be sure to like it to encourage more content like this. If you have any suggestions for other videos that you might want to see, comment below, or any questions, just comment below. And if you need any DevOps help, check out BoltOps. And subscribe if you want to watch more videos like this. Later, guys.